What's going on, my fellow financial professionals? This is the Life as I Know It podcast, and I am your host, Jason Marshall. And listen, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to set appointments that stick. Stay tuned. All right, listen, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Listen, if you have not subscribed just yet, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and so that you can get notified whenever, new things are going on with the channel. But, this episode, I want to just talk about how to set appointments, right? You can have all the product knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to set an appointment that sticks, it really doesn't serve you any purpose. You can't write any business if nobody can show up to the appointment. So we're going to just talk about 3 ways that you can set appointments, whether it be on the phone, whether it be in person, or whether it be online. So I'm just going to talk about all 3 ways. And that way, if you find yourself in these 3 different scenarios, you will be able to comfortably, set those appointments with confidence. And I believe that people can sense confidence like dogs and bees can pick up on fear. So you really need to internalize how you're going to ask for the appointment so that you can have that confidence that can convey over to who you're trying to ask for the appointment. And then you can just start, writing some business and helping these individuals, families, and business owners. So the first one we'll talk about is how to do it if you're in person. So this is just a situation where maybe you're casually at Walmart, Starbucks, or wherever, and maybe you bump into somebody that you already know. And it's just like, hey, what's going on? What you been up to? And you have a little small talk. But all you have to simply say is, man, listen, I don't know if you heard this or not, but I recently started my own insurance and financial practice, where I help individuals, families, and business owners with their planning. And, I love to show you some of the ways that I help them. And that way, if the need ever arose, hopefully you can think of me as somebody that can help you. So, in your line of work, what are mornings or afternoons the best time of day for us to sit down for a cup of coffee? Coffee on me. And so that's just a very simple way to do it. Not to say that everybody's gonna, bite on it, but you just gotta just start making that a part of your conversation, and people will, gravitate and a lot of times say yes. And a lot of times I would offer to buy coffee because what's coffee, a dollar or two, for their time. Their time is precious. So, that's just a way to basically, if you bump into somebody, you can just kind of let them know, hey, I don't know if you heard this or not, but maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I got my own insurance and financial practice, where I help individuals like yourself with their planning. And I love to show you what I do. That way, if the need ever arose, hopefully you can think to give me a call and I can, be a resource to you. And that's it. It's that simple. So in your line of work, mornings, afternoons, the best time for us to get together for about 30, 45 minutes. Coffee on me. So that's pretty much the premise and the way the conversation will flow. And I'll talk a little more about the psychology of how I kind of ended that appointment. But that's just how you do it if you are in person, right? So then the next one is over the phone. So, I don't know if you all had realized or recognized in my previous episode where I just talked about, when you had to write down the Project 200 when I was on the captive side. Well, if you're independent, this is still a good exercise to do. But in this scenario, your contacts aren't held hostage by the carrier, right? So I think this is just a good way, an exercise for you to really get some appointments going and some appointments moving within your business. And just simply take a piece of paper or maybe pull up a spreadsheet on, your computer and just start listing out, some family, friends, coworkers, colleagues, whoever within your sphere of influence, and just give them a call. Again, small talk, but then just say, hey, listen, I don't know if you heard this or not, but I recently started my insurance and financial practice where I help individuals with their planning for insurance and retirement. And I would love to just show you what I do. That way, if the need ever arose, hopefully, you can think of me as a resource to help you out. So, with your schedule, are typically mornings, afternoons, or evenings the best time for us to get together within the next couple of weeks for about 30 to 45 minutes. it worked like clockwork for me, you know. So again, it also goes back to the level of confidence. You can't be like, well, you know, I was hoping that, you know, maybe we could get together. No, it's like, listen, I don't know if you heard this or not, but I just started my insurance and financial practice. Listen, I help individuals such as yourself with planning, and I love to show you what I do. That way, if the need ever arose, you can think of me as a resource to help you out. None of that timid, scary stuff. If you have to even get in the mirror and just practice over and over until you build up that confidence, that's just what you need to do. So that's another way that you can really get those appointments going. It's just picking up the phone and calling those that are within your sphere of influence, that already know you, like you, and trust you. And 9 times out of 10, those people are going to give you, lend you an ear and give you an appointment. All right. And then the last way is how I really just kind of cleaned up, right? Because, online social media is just, it's just super easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? So let's just take Facebook, for example. That's really how I, set a bunch of appointments. So the way that I did this, of course, on the timeline, you see all the different life events that take place, whether somebody's just had a baby, they're expecting, they're getting ready to get married, all of those things, right? And so I have a list of friends where a lot of those life events were taking place, so I would, number one, congratulate them if somebody was getting ready to get married, or maybe a married couple or something like that was expecting a child. I would just slide in their DM or in their instant messenger, say, hey, congratulations on expecting. I pray for a healthy delivery and all of that. And I don't know if you heard this or not, but I am I just started my own insurance and financial practice where I help individuals with planning and things like that. And I love to just show you what I do. That way, when the need comes around, you can think of me as somebody to help. So, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but typically our mornings, afternoons, or evenings is the best time for us to get together within the next couple of weeks for about 30 to 45 minutes. And again, I was able to just set so many appointments just off of congratulating those individuals for their life events. And so those are the 3 ways that you can actually set appointments, whether it be in person, whether you're casually at Walmart or Kroger or whatever, the Target or wherever you're at, and you can spark up small talk and maybe end by asking for that appointment. Number 2, you can do it over the phone by making just a list of those individuals that already know you, like you, and trust you within your sphere of influence. And number 3 is online. Just check out for the different life events that are taking place within those friends within your network, whether it be on LinkedIn or what have you. Maybe somebody had a career change. Maybe they need to roll over some money. You could talk about those types of things with them, and that gives you insight and intel on what they may need. So now let's talk about the psychology of how I set the appointment. So I talked about how to ask for the appointment, but it's a psychology. So it's not, would you like to meet with me, yes or no. Is in your line of work or with your schedule, are typically mornings or afternoons the best time of day to get together? See, it wasn't, you notice how I did that. Fellas, if you want to ask a girl out, don't say, would you like to go out with me, yes or no? Like, it's Friday or Saturday the best days. It's not a yes or no answer, right? It's this or that. So are mornings, afternoons, or evenings the best time of day? So they can't say really no. They'll try to evade or whatever, but most times they'll say, well, evening or the afternoon. And so just realize that's one psychological piece that you want to interject when you're asking for the appointment. It's a reason why I asked that. The second thing is, you want to always say within the next couple of weeks for about 30 to 45 minutes. So it's not like you're asking for the appointment tomorrow, and you're not asking for a very large time commitment either. So by saying within the next couple of weeks for about 30 to 45 minutes, you're already kind of setting the stage. But what happened a lot of the time when they say, the morning or the evening is the best, be like, well, listen, actually I have, and even if your schedule is wide open, don't try to act like you're just so available. But just say, well, actually, I got this week on Thursday evening or Friday evening. Which day works best for you? And they'll say either Thursday or Friday, or they may say the next week, but you already kind of left it within that 2-week time window. So again, the psychology goes back to this or that. It's not would you like to meet, yes or no. It's are mornings, afternoons, this or that the best time for you? And then to throw in a little nugget like, hey, coffee on me. I mean, typically most people enjoy like a Starbucks or something like that, where it's just maybe $2 or $3 for a coffee for their time. And so that's the psychology behind it. So now let's talk about how to take it a step further, because, if they commit to the appointment, now you got to make sure the appointment sticks. And this is all through trial and error that I've had to go through, because, I've set appointments where people no call, no show me. So now we got to, number one, make sure the appointment sticks, and make sure that these individuals don't no call or no show you. Because, man, that is a stinger. When somebody does that, it boiled my blood, let me tell you. So I learned very quickly how to overcome that obstacle. So when they set the appointment, of course, get their email, and you want to send them an appointment invitation via email. And again, when you send the email, just say, hey, I look forward to the appointment. But then you also want to kind of put a disclaimer on there in the email along the way, just saying, hey, if something comes up as a professional courtesy, please try to let me know at least 24 hours in advance, and I'll do the same for you. That's it. Just leave it at that. And so a lot of time they'll go ahead and accept the appointment. But then to take it a step further, I used to do like doctors and dentist offices used to do when I set an appointment. They would send out text messages, to get you to confirm. So what I would do is about 2 days beforehand, I would send out a text message, just say, hey, this is a reminder about our appointment on this day and this time. I look forward to meeting with you. And again, if something comes up, please try to let me know, and I'll do the same for you. So again, that's staying top of mind and reminding them. Now, the last thing I would do to make sure the appointment was going to stick is on the day of, about 2 hours beforehand, I would send a text message just saying, hey, I wanted to remind you of our appointment today. And if you could confirm with me by, say for instance, if our appointment was at 3 o'clock, I would send out this reminder maybe at 1 o'clock, 2 hours beforehand. And I just say, hey, this is a reminder about our appointment today. If you could confirm at least by 1 to let me know that you're still good to go, and I'll make sure that I'm available as well. Now, what happens is if they don't confirm by 1, I may try to call and just make sure that we're still good. But if they don't confirm, then guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to go to the appointment either, because if you don't confirm, I'm not just going to be sitting up at Starbucks by myself. So that's basically how you make sure that you you ask for the appointment, you set the appointment, you follow up and remind about the appointment, and then you ask for a confirmation. Because even the doctors at my dentist office, they'll say, hey, text Y or yes that you are coming, text C to confirm, reply with a C to confirm. And so I basically followed that same thing, and I got a lot of my appointments showed up. I didn't get any more no calls, no shows, because if you didn't confirm with me, I'm moving on to the next thing. So that's pretty much how you set the appointment, how you, in those 3 settings, whether it be in person, whether it be over the phone, whether it be online. Those are the 3 ways that you do it. And then the psychology behind, it's either this or that, not a yes or no, would you like to meet? It's either, I love to show you what I do. And if you're available, our mornings, afternoons, or evenings, the best time of day. I give them options, but it's never yes or no. And then I always try to project it out into the future. So within the next couple of weeks, for about 30 to 45 minutes, even though you all may meet tomorrow, you still set it up for the next couple of weeks so that they don't feel like, I got to meet with this person right now. And then lastly, follow up with email, text message 2 days beforehand, and then a text message maybe 2 or 3 hours before, just to asking for a response by, to confirm that the appointment is still on. So that's really how I was able to, I was maybe running 15 appointments a week, and you know, able to write some of the most policies in the state for that particular carrier that year. So, you know, take some of this information, apply it to your practice. If you got any questions, don't be afraid to message me. You know, and if you need a brokerage partner, hit the link below. And of course, until next time, guys, we'll see you then.